We played this very, very popular title, Spirit Island. Real hotness of this year from Greater Than Games. Finally got the chance to check it out. It's fully cooperative. You're all spirits, and you are trying to push the evil invaders out of your island who are building and conquering.
Yes.
And protect the natives that live there already.
Protect the island, I think it would be more of a...
Yeah, but the natives are kind of helping. They're on your side.
Oh, yeah, they're
on your side. So interpret it as you will. It's how to describe this game. It's cooperative. It's sort of got like a little pandemic DNA in it. You are every turn playing cards that you have to pay for with energy that will let you move pieces around on the board, either the people, or you're also moving your own tokens that determine which areas you can influence.
It definitely has a lot. The problem is it has a lot of components and parts to it. I almost want to say in some ways, because unlike Pandemic, which is literally very, I won't say abstract, just cubes. This is almost like, I want to call it like you're fighting against a 4X game.
Yeah.
Because the settlers are they're gonna expand, they're gonna explore, they're gonna build, they're gonna attack, and then that will hurt your own villages. So
yeah, it does sort of feel like they're playing a game and you're trying to stop them, which is interesting. Normally this game would be the opposite, is you would be the settlers and the spirits would be fighting you. So I really like that twist. You're also like creating fear, which helps you. Ultimately, your goal is to destroy depending on how well you do with fear.
Yeah. So in this game, they actually give you you should probably follow these rules for your first time. Now, most times when we see that, we're like, no, we can handle that. We can go to the advanced things. This is not one you can do that, which is a good thing because there's so much interesting things going on.
Yeah, my first reaction was, it's such a common complaint and problem in co-op games is the alpha gamer, right? Where one person can quarterback and tell everybody what to do. This game, some games solve that problem by your hands are hidden or something like that, so no one person can't just look at everything. This game solved that problem by making the game just so complicated that one person couldn't possibly figure it all out. It's not like some puzzle you can solve. There's so many variables and so many possible actions you can take that you're always discussing.
You have to be like, all right, we know that these guys need to be pushed. Can you do something about it? And you're like, yeah, I have these things, but I might be able to generate fear. I'm like, wait, okay, if you generate the fear, then everyone goes back and forth with
And depending on the, which order you do it in too, it never feels like there's an optimal solution. There's always at least 3 paths that might be the best or the worst choice, which is great because you never feel like, oh, I figured it out or it's impossible. There's always a lot that you can do.
And what's also really cool is that each spirit you can choose to be, including the basic ones, really sort of make you think in a certain way. Like the spirit you chose was the Shadow of Fire, I think, or something like that.
Shadow flickers like flame.
Yeah,
they have cool names.
Yeah, they have these really awesome names. And so your whole thing is you're like, okay, I can pretty much have my presence anywhere on the board or use these villagers, and then I can spread fear everywhere. So that's how all of a sudden you're starting thinking and working. When mine was this slow earth build guy, the Earth Spear, I forget his name. But so my thing was if I have a ritual site, or a sacred site, it defends. So I'm like, okay, I actually want to be, and I told you guys, push enemies to me. Because I can actually defend them.
Right.
So it was this whole thing we're thinking oh, okay, you can do more pushing, you can scare more. And as you generate fear, what that actually does is it changes your victory condition. When the game starts, you have to win by killing everything. They have explorers, towns, cities. But as you generate more fear, first of all, they give you rewards, these cards. And then if you generate enough cards, you also get different rewards, like only destroying towns and cities. And then we got to destroying only cities, which is how we won.
Which is, I think, for most players, especially for your first game, how you're gonna win, because the board can get overrun pretty fast. So only having to kill the one type really helps.
And what's also really fun is because it's also complicated, you start thinking less about I think in some games when I can, or even some other when I play easy the other 4E expansion, I want to win everywhere. In this, you're not thinking that. You're thinking, okay, guys, we just need to at least sequester, or get if we can at least just clear 2 to 3 wetlands. I will save us so much time next round.
Yeah, the strategies are very interesting. The fact that you can see a little bit of what's coming up lets you be able to plan in advance, which you have to or you'll lose. Another mechanic I really like that reminds me of games like Scythe and Terra Mystica, and I guess Eclipse kind of the same way, where your board has covered up these slots, and when you take a piece and add it to the board, you'll get a reward for it. So you generate more energy or you get to play more cards each round.
Which becomes interesting. I mean, especially for me, I don't know about yours, but a lot of times my guy was slow, so like every time I remove one, it would be the same number. It would be like 1, 1, 2, 2.
Right, whereas my guy had bigger jumps.
Right.
In the way.
So a lot for me was like, do I want to get that energy so I can play more of my big cards? Because I start off with some pretty high costing cards. Or do I want to do this? And then it becomes really fun because then I'd be like, all right, I'm going to just push this guy over there so it gets out of there. And then you're like, oh, can you do that? Because then I can nuke that spot.
Yeah.
It becomes so fun when you're talking with each other. It really...
There are just so many strategies to explore.
And we were using, as you said, the basic setup. Like, there are things that it actually says in the book, there's a little lore, where you can actually make the invaders like England or like, I think it's Sweden were the 2 it comes with, which has their own personalities.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to have expansions for this with new spirits you can play as. So
well, one expansion already is out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do I know?
Branch and Claw, I believe. And there are 2 promos that were from the Kickstarter.
They work quick.
Supposedly, they're currently out of print on their own store. You could have bought them from their store. I looked this up because after playing this, I'm like, okay, I want to get everything. These 2 spirits apparently will be reprinted sometime next year and possibly sold on the Board Game Geek store.
Right, I'm sure most things go there.
Yeah, so really cool. There's a reason why this game sold out.
Yeah.
This definitely, I think, when we do our lists of 2017 best games, I would be shocked if this doesn't make on at least one of our lists.
I will remain stone-faced and give you no indication as to how much I liked the game. But I did like it a good amount. Definitely a good cooperative game. I really want to play it again, if for no other reason, because I was pretty tired when we played it, and my brain really hurt, and especially towards the end.
The thing is,
I think you were doing most of the strategizing just because I was like, you would say a million things, and I'd just be like, yes, I'm tired.
The thing is, from me, I feel like I was saying stuff, and then you guys were like, oh no, we can do this. So you didn't feel tired to me.
I guess the difference is I felt like you were more aware of what we had, whereas I was very much, here's what I can do, please tell me which one works for you.
I think, what I think I'd do would be like, guys, can we possibly get these guys at wetlands? And then you'd be like, all right, I can push this in the wetland. I'd be like, can you do damage? And you'd be like, yeah, I can do that too. So that's why I said I couldn't alpha game it.
No, you couldn't alpha game it, but I would be more happy you were there.
I was just like, I think it would become more like when you really see people take turns. Like I was really, because honestly, I was so slow, my actions are more defending. So I was very passive, I guess, with my powers. Mm-hmm. So for me, it'd be more like, I knew like looking 2 turns ahead when you'd be like, okay, just tell me where the problems areas are. I didn't know how you're going to do it. Like, because another fun thing is cards have elements which trigger special abilities for your spirit. And mine was someone gets to copy their spells. So I'd be like, can anyone copy a 0-cost spell? And you'd be like, yeah, I got that.
yeah. There's a lot. I mean, there's honestly like at least 5 other things we didn't even mention because there's just so much going on in this game. But if you haven't heard about Spirit Island, check it out. It definitely gets a recommendation from us.
Yeah, we did, by the way, with 3 people. It does different board sizes too with more or less players. Definitely, I've heard very good things about 2-player. So definitely.
And a solo mode is in there as well.
So definitely something for you to keep an eye out for.
If you enjoyed this video, it was just a snippet of our full-length podcast, which you can find on our YouTube channel every week. So please go ahead, like, and subscribe for more board game-related content coming at you in the future.
And don't forget to check out rollforcrit.com, where we actually sell a lot of the games we talked about, as well as post news and all our other videos. Until then, I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and this is Roll for Crit.